You're listening to Last Word Radio, where you get the last word.
3, 2, 1. We're live. This mic is hot. The day is Monday, August 17th, 2020. The time is 9:06 p.m. The name of the podcast is the Fourth Line Podcast. No, this is not Carl Landra speaking, dear listener. This is Nick. Carl has a week off. Carl has a week off, and he left me to my own devices to figure out something to do with this show. This is the Fourth Line Podcast, brought to you by the Alberta Podcast Network, locally grown, community supported. So far, so good. We have no Carl today, but we do have a very special guest in his place. Her name is Erin Ambrose. Erin, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me on, Nicholas. I couldn't be happier to be here tonight on a Monday night.
Oh, please, Erin. So Erin Ambrose is a very accomplished professional women's hockey player. She is also part of the family. She is my wife's first cousin.
I got nervous you were just going to stop at my wife, and I was like, this is going to cause some issues, Nick.
So when Carl told me he was not going to be here, Erin was the first person to come to my mind. Because every time I'm with Erin, we have great hockey talk. And I was like, we got to have Erin on the podcast and talk about hockey. You want to talk about hockey?
I do. I am a very big hockey fanatic.
Okay, let's talk about hockey. But before we get to that, I need to read something first, okay? Did you know, Erin, that a chartered professional accountant, also known as a CPA, can handle more than just financials? Those three little letters mean you're working with a professional who is trained to make a difference in an organization. CPAs can bridge all areas of an organization, understand the ins and outs of your business, and bring a holistic view to problem solving. If you've never before considered hiring a CPA to take your organization to the next level, what's stopping you? Let a CPA help you bounce back from these tough economic times. For an inside look at how Alberta CPAs are supporting their clients through the pandemic, follow CPA Alberta on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or LinkedIn. You can also visit cpaalberta.com to find out more. That's it.
That was a good ad read. You crushed that.
Thank you. I practiced. I didn't. But I thought I did okay. I'm a good reader.
I see that.
So there's only one rule on the show, Erin, okay?
Okay.
We can't say any bad words, because when we say bad words, it creates work for Carl that he has to go in and beep it out.
Okay,
and
I'm going to try really hard not to. It's a really bad thing of mine.
And I know that you put those Sportsnet editors to work a few weeks ago when you participated in the EA Sports tournament.
That's only because other people did it before me. If people jump off the bridge before me and they're okay, then I'm going to jump off the bridge too.
Oh, man. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
So you participated in the NHL20 tournament that EA Sports and Sportsnet put on.
I did.
And you went to the finals.
I did. I made it all the way to the finals.
Did you win?
I lost in the finals. Thank you for rubbing that in.
Hence the bleeping.
Yeah. Well, he shoved it in my face. He made a really nice move. And now whenever I see Werenski on the TV, I'm just like, you've broken my heart twice now.
Oh, man. That guy is a heartbreaker, though, isn't he?
Apparently. That's what the ladies say.
I meant on the ice. Do you have any inside stories for us?
I'm also a lady, so...
How did you even get roped into that EA Sports thing?
So through the PWHPA, they kind of sent out an email, like, right at the end of the season, being like...
Everyone okay over there?
Yeah, we're good, just the remote. They sent out an email just saying, like, oh, does anybody game? And, like...
And you said yes?
They're referring mostly to NHL20, and I actually used to play pregame every day in college, like every game day in college. It was my instead of going to pregame skate, I pregame chelled.
No, you didn't. Really?
Yeah. So didn't play as much, and then centralization year we actually every 3 games you didn't play because we had more players. So
yeah.
the healthy scratches would play in like the little area at the rink. So kind of got back into it centralization year. And then every so often, like I'll play, but not anything. So I was like, well, yeah, I can play NHL 20. And then I got the list of like who was in the tournament. And it was like Binnington, Evander Kane, Charlie McAvoy, Werenski. And I was like, uh-oh. But then Melo Daou was also in it.
Yeah.
Melo's never been a gamer. Like Melo participated with us in the pregame sometimes centralization year. And I was concerned for her well-being when she got into that tournament.
She more of like a button masher?
Oh, 100%. Like she's one of those ones, like if she was playing Call of Duty, she wouldn't be able to look and aim and like, so.
I love it. I didn't realize you were a gamer.
I wouldn't quite say. I did get headsets now, and like I have a gaming headset, and I have officially gotten into Fortnite. I'm not going to lie.
Of course you did. Well, I mean, you look legit in the videos with the headset, and you had the total like lean back in the chair down perfectly.
Well, that's just through college.
Of course. I mean, you're closer to that than I am.
What can I say?
That's so who did and you took those guys to task. Who did you play throughout the whole thing?
I played Christian Fischer in the first round. I won 4-1. And then that's when I got deemed as a sandbagger. So Paul Bissonnette and Sean McKenzie were the hosts. And again, like I had just said, like when I was talking to Elliot Friedman and Jeff Merrick before, I just said, like, I just want to win one game. Like, I just don't want to like show up and just get embarrassed. Like I want to win a game and like at least be like, oh my gosh, she's not that bad. And then I played Evander Kane and I beat him 9-3. But that game didn't even get aired. Like there was one clip from it and apparently something happened with Evander's like video. Like it didn't get saved or something. So it didn't end up getting played. And I was like, this would have just been great if this could have gone out there. Like, so it just so happened that I didn't get any video out from beating Kane. And then I played Zach Aston Reese in the semis and won an OT. And I sallied harder for that than I have sallied in a very, very long time. Like I lost it. And like quick in OT too, like 30 seconds into it. And then right after I played Zach Werenski and lost in the finals. So.
That's so cool, though.
It was awesome.
Who gave you the worst chirp? And was it aired?
Lacasse did. So they actually gave they called up like teammates of ours to get some dirt on us. And
wow.
Yeah. So Lacasse had a video and came on and talked about how much of an ankle bender I am. And like my ankles literally bend on the ice. So she talked about that. And then she also told Sportsnet, like they hope that I have, like they had good coverage because I break a lot of bones and just was throwing stuff out there. And I was like, you're a brat.
Just dishing the dirt.
And then they asked Nurse and Nurse was like, I don't think I can say anything on national television, so I can't participate. Said, thank you for being honest, Sarah.
Oh, that's great. What a fun tournament to be a part of.
It was awesome. A highlight of my quarantine for sure.
Oh, highlight of the quarantine. How has quarantine been for you?
It's been good. Been back in the gym like regularly, which has been really nice. Probably since July. So kind of once things started to get a little bit more lenient, we had a small group right away. So it was nice to get into there. But yeah, it's been nice to be back in Ontario for the summer, which is a big change of pace for me. And
are you skating at all?
Yep, I'm 3 times a week right now on the ice, which has been really good actually. So summer is not my time to thrive on the ice at all.
Yeah,
I discovered that many years ago, but it's been nice for me to get out there.
So can you walk us, for those who don't know, I mean, I don't even know this about you, and I've known you for like 5 or 6 years now, but I've never heard this story. Like, how did you break into hockey? I mean, I'm assuming you've played hockey all of your life, but how did you break it into the next level? How did you become a professional hockey player?
So I played boys hockey until grade 8 was my last year. So I played for York Simcoe Express and Georgina Blaze. So York Simcoe Express is how I met like Chris Tierney, Sean Walker was with LA, like a bunch of those guys. And played with them until grade 8. And then grade 9, I switched over to girls hockey. And when I switched over to girls hockey, it's kind of where things started to, I guess, take off a little bit for me. I switched over with the hope of making Team Ontario because you had to be playing girls hockey in order to make Team Ontario, which I was fortunate enough to do my first year. So I played 4 years at Team Ontario and 3 years of Team Canada U18s. So after my first Team Ontario, it was in Napanee, Ontario, actually. And that was my first nationals. So November of 2008 is when that would have been. And then that following May, so May of 2009 was my first invitation to the U18 strength and conditioning camp with Hockey Canada. So I've been with Hockey Canada now for 11 years. And then just kind of stayed with them, like played U18s, played 4 years of development, and then made the senior team for the first time in 2014, but didn't end up making it again until 2016, 17. So
can we talk about Hockey Canada for a minute? Because this is a question I had for you. And I think, like, I don't know about other people, but me, I'm definitely way more familiar with, the boys side and how the boys are discovered and recruited. But how does that work on the girls side? Like, how did you get discovered by the Canadian national team? How did you get brought on board?
So that would have been a lot through Team Ontario. So I think, so there aren't a lot of, I'm actually the only Canadian to ever play in 3 world championships for under 18s.
They don't know that.
They don't often take 15-year-olds to worlds. So that was actually a big one for me in getting there early, but it was also, like, as much of an accomplishment as it was a big concern with Hockey Canada. And if I would plateau a little too early, and obviously it's never good to plateau, but that was a big concern. And so with Team Ontario, like, it's all the provinces, obviously, and getting there was kind of the first, that's where all the national team scouts kind of go. And they also watch, like, I was a part of the PWHL. So I guess it's Professional Women's Hockey League. I think with the Toronto Arrows for 4 years. And that's heavily scouted by Hockey Canada, heavily scouted by NCAA and U Sport teams. And that's obviously where I got recognized to go and attend Clarkson University as well. So a long journey, but women's hockey, like, obviously our schooling is a big thing, and scouting is all around for the PWHL. There's a JWHL, which is out west. You've got a little different in Quebec because of their CEGEP leagues. And then a bunch of different private kind of schools. A lot of girls go to the States too, actually, from out east mostly. Yeah.
And you went to New York State for school, right?
Yeah. So Clarkson University was in Potsdam, New York.
Yeah. And you played 4 years there?
Yeah.
And then after that, you won a championship there, didn't you?
I did. I won a national championship in 2014 with Clarkson University.
And then after that, congratulations, by the way.
Yeah. You're so good at this.
A little belated, but...
Here I met you, but don't worry about it.
So then after that, you came back home and you played in the CWHL. Is that correct?
Yes. So the year I got back, I was drafted by the Toronto Furies. Mm-hmm. Played 1 full season with the Toronto Furies, in which that's where I, while playing for Toronto, was selected to go to the Four Nations Cup with the senior national team, which was in November, and then made the 2017 World Championships, which were in Plymouth. And then after that, so I had the 1 full season and then centralization, which is where we move out west and train and obviously try to make the Olympic team there.
Now, I think we all know the story with what happened with the CWHL, but when it was live, and even like in when you're playing for Clarkson, is everyone very understandable when it comes to the national team? Like, you have tournaments, you have to go play for the national team. Everyone totally understands that. Do you end up missing a lot of time from whether your school team or your...
So with the CWHL, Four Nations was in November. So usually the CW would take a 2-week break, which would be when everybody was gone. Just because, our last year, my first year was a little bit different because there were a lot of Americans playing in the NWHL. But the last year was the last year the CWHL existed. We obviously had a lot more Americans. So when that happens, like there's just such a big chunk of players that are gone. So you can't have anything. Montreal would have had 12, 13 skaters probably. Like, how are you supposed to have anything competitive with that? So PWHL was really good with that. PWHPA is the same way. They've been scheduling a lot around, especially this year. It was a little harder last year just because everything was so last minute in a sense. But we have reps with the PWHPA, and then we have reps with Hockey Canada that kind of communicate scheduling and try to work together. So it's good that we're all kind of going in the same direction.
So you keep saying PWHPA, that stands for Professional Women's Hockey Players Association. Yes. And Erin's nodding her head at me right now.
Sorry. Yes. Sorry.
So last year, we all know the story, the CWHL they fold essentially. Can you talk a little bit about the PWHPA and kind of what's happened since then? Because it was a very big news story at the time. Obviously 2020's been a bit of I don't want to use a word that Carl has to bleep, but it's been an ordeal. So, what's the PWHPA up to now? What's in the plans for them? What's the status there?
Well, to backtrack, with the CWHL folding, so it occurred actually while we're in Finland for the World Championships last April.
Right.
So we found out on a conference call 2 days before the tournament was about to begin that we no longer had a league. And the crazy thing is like most of us Canadian players know most of the US girls, like we've been at school together. We've played against each other for many years. We've played with each other on the CWHL teams. But when we're at Worlds, we don't communicate at all. But when it folded, it was kind of like, we all kind of got together and had some discussions. We had reps from both teams right away. And we all knew that we needed to find something more than what is out there currently. The NWHL is there, and it's a league that's good for some players, but it's not a league that we believe in and we believe will be sustainable for women's hockey and is what we deserve as women's hockey players. And that's something that you ask any member of the PWHPA and they all agree on that, whether they're national team players or not. So the PWHPA, we had a great year last year. Like I said earlier, it was very tough. There was a lot of things put together last minute because we had, you think of how many years or how far out you have to plan a season. It doesn't happen 3 months in advance. It happens years. If you really look at the NCAA, anything like that, you're planning 3 years out.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of work, but Jana Hefford, who's our commissioner and our lead, has done a fantastic job in not only believing in us and believing in what we need as players, but also just knowing that the little things are going to make a huge difference for us. And she understands where the best resources are for us, which I think is really important in women's hockey and a really good way for us to get publicity and get notice, which I think is the biggest thing in women's hockey. Is we always say, once you come through the door, you're not going to turn back out, but it's getting people in the door. It's getting us on TV and people's eyes on our game, which is the biggest difference and the biggest challenge for us as female hockey players. But
that's so true. Like you say, get them in the door and they're never going to walk out. I kind of, I watched women's hockey at the Olympics every 4 years. Yep. But, when I started coming around your family more, we obviously started going to way more women's hockey games. And it's amazing hockey.
And honestly, would you have known anything about it? Other than the Olympics, would you have known of any women's hockey league or anything like that before you met? Exactly.
Maybe a little bit just through hockey Twitter, but on the periphery.
Yeah.
Not the way I do now.
Where we played or anything like that. And that's something that we want to continue to fight for. And there's a lot of opportunities for us, I think, and we all think. And that's why, like, we believe in what we have. We believe in our product, and we believe in, obviously, the time and effort that we put into it. You look at the success of the WNBA, and you also look at the success of the NWSL. Like, they were the first, I guess, pro sports league to really do the pandemic championship. And there wasn't a heck of a lot of talk, but there was a bit more than usual. And yes, it helped that it was a global pandemic and there wasn't a lot of sports going on. But at the same time, it was like, hey, let's put eyes on this. Let's put eyes on the WNBA. Like, this is what we need for all of women's sports, because, yeah, we're not males and we don't jump as high. We don't run as fast, but it's not like our compete level is any different. And I think that that's the biggest thing with us is we're so passionate about what we do, and we're so passionate about supporting all female athletes that it makes it more exciting for us, because we're invested in not only our sport and growing the game of women's hockey, but also investing in the WNBA, in the NWSL. Like, these kinds of things are going to make our sport better and all of female sport better.
Totally. And your passion comes through in everything you guys do, whether it's talking about it on a podcast or watching you play on the ice. Like, the intensity level is there always. I love it. You've sold me on it.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Always been a salesman.
You're a good one too.
Just like my grandpa.
Just like your grandpa. We're getting to him. Don't worry. I had one more question. So first of all, I don't know if we've ever mentioned it, but you are a defenseman.
I am.
Shoot left or right? Left, right?
No, right.
Right? All right. That's why I can't use any of your sticks. I know. I should know better. I should have remembered the stick thing.
Continue.
And you were supposed to go to Halifax this year for the Worlds.
I was.
Obviously, they were canceled.
Yep.
Because of this pandemic. Do you guys know, have you been communicated what the plan is or what the next steps are there?
Yeah, so Halifax will be hosting the 2021 Worlds, which is exciting that the IIHF was able to give Hockey Canada and I guess Canada in general the opportunity to host. And I know that us as a program are super excited, and we were very excited to be in Halifax, because it's like we had our camp out there in September last year, and it was pretty special to be there. So we're really looking forward to that. As for our year, we're pretty much just pushing everything back. We usually have a September camp, which still up in the air, but doesn't look like that'll obviously happen, which is quite close with the travel and everything. And so, yeah, just pushing everything back. We'll have a rivalry series and everything come the new year, and then get ready to go. Like, April's going to come around fast, especially because pre-competition camp is like mid-May or mid-March, sorry. So like it's all going to come up really fast. So it's exciting, and kind of the details up until then are a little bit up in the air, but going to be a lot of hockey in a short amount of time, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's coming. That's fun. I don't know if our flights are booked yet, but there was talk about flights being booked. So
not yet. Don't jinx it.
Not jinxing anything.
Okay,
just telling you about a conversation. You know what? We can cut this. Carl, cut it from the edit.
Cut.
If you really want him to cut it, you drop a curse word right now.
Carl.
Okay. Okay. Let's move on. Let's talk about the NHL playoffs, because we went for so long without any live sports, and now it's back, and I feel like we've been inundated with it, and I can't stop watching.
Although I seem to turn my TV off by 8:00, but like I watch up until then. Like,
wow,
the day that Boston Tampa were on at 11, I think I watched hockey the entire day that day.
Oh yeah. Because that was the day after the 5:00
not Boston,
game.
Tampa, Boston, Carolina.
That was a 5:00. That was after the 5:00 game.
So I literally watched constantly.
So and you know what? It's good hockey.
It is indeed.
But the big news of the week from the NHL And I have to mention this because this is something that Carl and I have talked about since they've gone back on the air. Elliot Friedman shaved his beard.
He did. What a handsome man.
He looks good.
I thought we were going to talk about Tuukka, but yeah, that too.
The classic misdirection.
Yep, it's fine.
Good for you, Friedge. You look good, buddy, on Sportsnet. The other big news from the bigger NHL picture, they released today 0 positive COVID tests in the bubble. And it's been, 4 weeks?
Yeah. Yep.
Fantastic. I never thought that they would get to this point.
I was just going to say, I don't want to be a downer, but I didn't think that was going to happen. But
it just speaks to
good for them.
The success of the bubble idea, right?
Absolutely.
It works. It's great. Good for them. Okay, let's go through these series.
Okay.
And here's how we're going to do it, okay? So Erin's grandfather.
As if you and Adam and I just can't believe you guys got in. Like, this is where I don't think it's fair, though. You and Chrissy have probably, I'm just going to assume, some sort of joint bank account. So now you have 2 opportunities.
Okay. Hold on a second. Let's explain to the people what we're talking about here, okay? So Erin and my wife Chrissy's grandfather that holds an annual hockey pool for the playoffs.
And I used to make so much more money until all these other people got taken into this.
How long has he done this for, Erin?
Years. I made $1,400 one time.
Oh my God. So the concept is at the beginning of every round, you submit your picks, who you think's going to win and who you think and how many games you think it's going to take. And based on how well you do, you get a certain amount of dollars paid back to you. Okay. Now,
paid back? We don't give anything.
Paid out to you.
Yeah, there's no paying back. Like, we don't lose a cent.
This is Gord's hockey pool.
Yeah.
And
we, the exclusive, are allowed in.
I can't believe I was allowed in. But you know why I think he let me in? And it's dangerous because he set a precedent. Fan. Yes. Gord Ambrose is a Red Wings fan. And he loves that I'm a Red Wings fan. So he decided to let me in. He decided to let me in before we even got married.
I know Adam is in it.
Well, see, he set the precedent with me though, so he kind of had to let Adam in. Okay, but here's the kicker. Last year, I think I collected more than anybody.
Yeah, you did, and I was not happy about it.
I'm
pretty sure, or we were like neck and neck, you and I.
You know who the most satisfying person to beat in this hockey pool is? You. What do you mean, Kaylee? Kaylee's no contest. It's you. So here's what we're going to do, okay? Because was it earlier this week, or I think it was last week, we had to submit our picks to Gord. So I want to go through the series, and we can kind of talk about each one.
I don't know if any of my games are right.
Well, we're gonna find out kind of where each one is and where you have the potential to be right. So this is Gord's hockey pool. Maybe Carl can cue in some music for this segment. When was your grandpa born? Like the 1930s? He can play some sort of like 1930s jingle. Creating a lot of work for poor Carl who's on vacation.
Yeah, he's not gonna be happy with you.
Okay. Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm starting in the East. Tampa Bay Lightning, Columbus Blue Jackets. They played this afternoon. Tampa's leading the series 3-1. Who did you have?
I have Tampa in 6.
You have Tampa in 6, eh?
What do you have?
I also have Tampa in 6.
So why did you just sound so shocked when I said that?
Because I forgot what my pick was. But wait, before we really get into this, I want to dispute something that you said that about Christy and I. We do our picks completely separately.
Okay, well that adds even more. So yes, as you should. If you guys,
there's no cheating happening here, Erin.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. If you guys did your picks together, you'd both lose.
Whoa.
Okay, unless you both got it right. But I'm just saying, like, I would hope you didn't have the same picks, or else you're really minimizing your chances here.
Actually, in the East, we picked the exact same, including the number of games.
Okay, well, that was dumb of you guys.
Well, we don't want to cheat.
If Gord ever listens to this, we are going to get in trouble for tampering because Gord does not like when people talk about their picks.
Does Gord listen to podcasts?
I might have to send him this one because I send him mine all the time.
I think he'll enjoy it, especially with the jingle we just requested. Yeah. Okay, Tampa in 6.
This one's
Tampa's on track to win in 5, though.
Yeah, but I mean, they've all been really close games, though.
Columbus is really keeping themselves in it.
Like, there's a good chance Korpisalo can steal Game 5.
I totally agree. I do have to say, though, the series this year is way more in line with how I thought this series should go than how it went last year.
I just was like, you know what? There's no way Tampa lets it happen 2 years in a row.
Can you answer one question for me, though, from a player's perspective? Because I was watching the game this afternoon, and going into the third period, there was something like 35 or 40 shot blocks between both teams.
Yeah.
And I'm watching some of these guys go down and block shots, and I'm like, you are insane. But what goes through a defenseman's head as a person's winding up to take a slap shot and they drop down and just get in front of it however they can?
Like, are you saying if I'm the one blocking a shot?
Yes, because I've seen you do it.
I want to eat this puck. Like, there is nothing that gets me into a hockey game more than getting a block shot early in a game.
Really?
Yeah. That pain and those words that I can't say because Carl will kill me, like, those are things that, like, yeah, that's like, and I just know how much of an impact it has on the team.
I admire that.
I would much rather go back to the bench after a huge shot block and get, like, taps than, like, after a goal.
I love that.
That's
I think, yeah, I was going to say, I think that's probably what the exact answer Ryan McDonough would give me too. Mm-hmm. Okay. Boston, Carolina. Boston's up 2-1. They're currently playing right now. I'm not quite sure what the score is. They're losing 2-0.
Yeah. Carolina just had a goal called off for high stick. Yeah.
Okay. So currently
I have Carolina in 6.
I have Carolina in 7.
So we're both possible.
Yeah, but I think Carolina's going to have a hard time now with no Svechnikov.
Bruins don't have Pasternak.
That's true. Do we even know what happened to Pasternak? I didn't see what hurt him.
And no Tuukka.
Okay, so let's talk about Tuukka. That was big news this week.
Good for him. 100% support that. And I think that kind of shows, like, also the support that, like, Boston has as a group. Like, all of them were like, we want him to be with his family. Like, I mean, think about it though. Like, would you rather have a guy who's there just, like, going through the motions, or would you rather have a guy doing what makes him happy?
Absolutely. So Tuukka Rask exits the NHL bubble to go home with his family. He has 2 young kids and a newborn at home.
I believe so. Yeah.
And, everything from the Boston Bruins organization has been, we 100% support this decision. Dude's got to do what he's got to do.
Why
and everybody
they've had so much success for so many years?
It says a lot about them as an organization that they can let their starting goalie.
3-on-1. Oh.
Erin, come on, you got to update the people.
He just missed a wide open net. 3-on-1, which turned into a 4-on-1. Great pass by Niederreiter to, was it Brock McGinn on the back door?
This is beautiful play-by-play.
I don't know who that is, actually. And he missed it. Anyway.
So Carolina misses the open net. It's still 2-0. Yeah. There's no Tuukka Rask.
Speaking of which, Carolina, without a doubt, has the best D-corps in the entire NHL.
You think so, eh?
Without a doubt.
They're pretty good, but I don't know if I'd say they're the best defensive team in the league.
No, their D-corps is the best. Okay. Dougie Hamilton, who, if he didn't break his leg, would have been up for the Norris.
Yep.
Brady Shea, who was a top 4 in New York, who has fit in very well.
It's a great get for Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Jake Gardner, who is a top 4 in the NHL, if not a great 5-6 that adds so much to your D.
But also sometimes a healthy scratch?
No.
Was he not scratched?
I don't know. Was he?
I think he was scratched for a game.
Joel Edmondson, Stanley Cup champion.
Is TVR not?
Jacob Slavin.
Oh yeah, Jacob Slavin's
one of the most underrated defensemen in the entire NHL.
It's fantastic, yeah.
Oh my goodness, how did he miss that? I still don't know who it is. Neskas? I don't even know what his name is.
Martin Necas.
And Theo Fleury, Hayden Fleury, sorry, who is a young kid. He's going to be fantastic.
It's definitely one of the better ones. I mean, the Hurricanes, if they can get through Boston, I feel like they can get through anybody. I think they do have a legit shot at this. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be easy for them to get through Boston.
It's just their scoring, like you said, Shmetnikov is gone, and also their goaltending.
Yeah. And they're back on Reimer tonight.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's possible. It'll be by committee, that's for sure.
Okay, let's go to the next series in the East. Philadelphia versus Montreal. Philadelphia's up 2-1.
I have Philly in 5.
I also have Philly in 5.
Sorry, Gord.
Yeah, your uncle. I mean,
my uncle.
Christy's dad is a big Habs fan, and even he bet against them.
Did he?
Yeah.
But how excited did he probably get after that 5-0 win?
Oh my God, we get texts from him after every game.
Oh, goodness. We don't even need to talk about it. Carter Hart's going to be fantastic for 30 years to come.
The Hart versus Price competition is kind of interesting, though.
Yeah, but it's not a competition.
You don't think so? You think it's all Hart?
No, I don't think you can. Carey Price is still the better goalie. Carter Hart has a better hockey team.
That's a great way of putting it. We
don't need to talk about it.
I legit think that Philadelphia has a good chance of going deep this year.
I think they could win the cup.
Absolutely. So they're up 2-1 in the series currently. So we're both on track to make this pick.
Yep.
Okay, next series is Washington versus New York. Who do you got?
Well, I have Washington in 7.
I have Washington in 6. You are on track. I've missed it, but you're on track. I don't think you're gonna get it.
If I did, I'd be pretty pumped.
That would be pretty exciting. I'm shocked that the Islanders have the Capitals on the brink like this.
Uh-huh.
I haven't watched any of these games, so I don't know what they've been like.
Pittsburgh last year.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Like this Islanders team continues to surprise. Every year, every playoff series, I'm like, the Isles can't be that good.
Last year. Right? That's what it was last year, right?
The Islanders last year, I believe they swept through the first round.
And then they got swept. By Carolina, I think.
I think you're right.
C'est la vie.
I mean, it's the playoffs, right? Who knows?
It's the playoffs.
Who knows? So you have the Caps in 7. You can still get that.
Yep.
I can't.
So there's nothing that I can't still get.
No, you're still in this. You're still in this.
I mean, you're in it until your team's out.
That's
you don't necessarily have to get the number of games right.
That is true. You just have to get the team right. The number of games is a bonus.
Way off on the West. In the West.
Okay, so let's go to the West then. Let's talk about that. I've got Vegas and Chicago first on my list.
Okay, so I'm not completely off, actually.
Okay. Vegas is currently up 3-1.
And I've got Vegas in 5.
And you've got Vegas in 5. I also have Vegas in 5. So this next game, which is tomorrow at 10:30, that could be a clincher for us.
That could be some money in the bag right there.
That could be some money in the bank right there. Is this series going how you thought it would?
Yeah, like I think I had also picked, actually, it wasn't in Gord's playoff pool, but it was in my predictions during the play-in rounds that Chicago was going to upset Edmonton for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Good pick. I did not see that happening.
I did. I just didn't think Edmonton had it. Like, I didn't see Taves coming out that hot, which was fantastic. But I just think that, like, you can also put somebody up like Taves like that against, if you separated Draisaitl and McDavid, then he can help with one of them. But I just was like, Edmonton was so power play dominant, and they're just like, find somebody to play with those two players, please. And I know that they got some of your Red Wing boys and stuff, but like, they didn't even play them with them. Like,
this is the thing. I said this on the earlier podcast too. Athanasiou is like the fastest player in the league. Friggin' put him with Connor McDavid.
no, I don't think you do that, but I think you put him with Draisaitl.
Put him with somebody better than, I don't even know who's on their bottom six. I don't know what the problem with Edmonton is. They got to figure it out though, because they've been bad for too long.
Yeah.
So Chicago won the other day. You know what I saw online today? That was their first playoff win since 2016.
Did they win the Cup in 2016?
No. I don't know who won the Cup in 2016. I'd have to go through all the years to figure it out.
Or was that Pittsburgh? They were 16 and 17? No, Washington was 17.
So Pittsburgh would have been 16.
Possibly.
Let's find out, Aaron. That's what Google's for. 2016 Stanley Cup. Because I can type very well. Yeah, it was Pittsburgh. They beat San Jose.
That.
You know your hockey. Chris Letang scored the series-winning goal.
Boy.
Anyways, Chicago probably shouldn't have made it through Edmonton. You
But
obviously figured they did.
Yep.
They're not going to make it through Vegas.
I don't think so.
Okay, next series.
Also, Chicago just didn't think they were going to make it through anybody because they got rid of Robert Leonard. Like,
Totally. This is all gravy for a team like Chicago.
although, like, I wonder if, like, that was a team that was like, could have used Lafreniere.
Probably. But you know what, Aaron? I don't want to talk about the draft lottery.
Sorry, Nicholas.
Yeah. We're not gonna get into it.
Sorry, Nicholas. Okay.
I've had my say.
Okay.
Okay, we have Colorado versus Arizona next.
I had Colorado in 4.
I had Colorado in 4 too.
Did you see
Were
today's?
you cheating off me?
Yeah. Did you see today's?
I saw that they won something like 7-1 or something, and it looked like it got nasty.
7-1.
Yikes. That is bad. But really, like, this is a mismatch. Colorado should be winning this series in 4.
Colorado, I think, has a good chance to win the Cup.
Yeah, they're going to go deep. So Colorado is Carl's favorite team. And I'm sure that he'd be curious to know, as a defenseman, what your opinion is of Cale Makar.
Absolutely phenomenal. His goal today was incredible. And I think the best part is he's only going to get better because big thing with, like, young guys is they come into the league and he's got the skill, obviously, offensively, but he's going to learn how to play the game defensively. And that's going to be a big thing, obviously, for a young guy. Like, you're going to start to learn tendencies of guys you play against and just different things. So not even that he has to become, like, a great defender. Like, he does a good job, but at the same time, it's just going to be easier for him because he's going to learn different things and just learn how to play the game at that level defensively. So
Totally. He's so young still.
I actually said this today. Andrew Raycroft tweeted today, my boy Andrew. He is. He said,
go on.
Nathan McKinnon greater than Connor McDavid.
Whoa.
And I actually, at first I was like, okay. But then, like, I think I'd take Nathan McKinnon in a more rounded player.
Okay.
I think Nathan's adding a whole different element. He's physical. He's going to play in his end a little bit more than Connor does. He's got the speed to almost match Connor. Like,
He's certainly lifted Colorado out of the basement of the league.
His shot is way more of a threat than Connor McDavid's is.
But he's got how many years on Connor in the league?
2, 3.
Is that it?
I think so. I'll check.
That's a pretty big claim that Nathan MacKinnon is better than Connor. Those are certainly words to put on the internet. I don't know if I can agree with that.
Okay, that's fair. He's a 95, so he's 2 years older.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, you look at the team that's around them. I think McKinnon's got a little more help than Connor does.
Yep.
He's probably got a little less pressure than Connor does. If you look at kind of what's the media and what's happening where they're both playing. But the fact that we're even talking about it, I think says something about Nathan MacKinnon.
Mm-hmm.
So they're essentially in the second round already. We don't need to talk anymore about that series. Okay, but here's an interesting one. Calgary, Dallas.
I had caught Calgary in 5.
I had Calgary in 6.
So you're possible.
I'm possible. Chrissy had Dallas in 6. The series is currently tied 2-2.
Also just been really weird games.
Very weird, right?
Like Dallas, Calgary, the game yesterday, Dallas outshot them by like 20.
And did Joe Pavelski not have a hat trick? Did I hear that?
Yeah. But like Calgary had no business being in the game, but like Talbot kept them in it while allowing 4 goals. Like,
and no Matthew Tkachuk for Calgary.
Yeah, why?
I think he might have a concussion. I don't think they've admitted that, or they can admit that, or have to admit that. I don't know what the rules are around injuries right now. But yeah, he's currently out. So that's a big loss for Calgary. But I think this Calgary team surprised me in the qualifying round against Winnipeg. And I still think that they can pull through against Dallas.
Me too. Dallas doesn't score a lot.
Which is surprising for a team.
And Milan Lucic is back.
Apparently. Apparently all they needed to do was change his sweater and he can score goals again.
Okay, go to the next one. I'm excited for the next one.
St. Louis versus Vancouver. Mm-hmm. Now, the series is currently Vancouver's leading 2-1. Something tells me you picked Vancouver here. You did, eh?
I did.
How many games?
7.
I picked St. Louis in 7.
I think when I talk about it now, I'm like, I think if it goes to 7, St. Louis might have it. But I think Vancouver can win.
I like having watched Vancouver through the qualifiers and now what they're doing against St. Louis, I think they're going to win in less than 7.
Like St. Louis just seems like bleh.
Yeah, what is going on with that team? Like you just won the Stanley Cup. You won your conference, did they not?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, they were through the play-ins.
And now the young Vancouver Canucks. But like this is huge for Vancouver that they can rally together and do this. Bo Horvat's been fantastic for them.
Yeah. After just having his baby.
Yeah. That dad strength.
Girl dad.
Yeah, it didn't happen for me. My first game after we had Sadie, I was very sluggish. I certainly didn't score a couple goals.
OT winner.
No OT winners. Probably spent a few minutes in the sin bin.
Oh, goodness, Nicholas.
But that's about it. Not on purpose. I don't take penalties on purpose, Aaron.
Nobody ever does.
No. For me, it's a lot like you. It's just you get tired at the end of your shift, so you just throw a stick around their waist.
When do I ever do that?
My favorite is watching one of your games with your dad.
Oh, goodness. I'm sorry.
Because your dad's always like, she shouldn't go to the box for that. It's either that or it's, Aaron, because it was so obvious.
So disappointed.
But he says it in a way where he's like, I keep telling her to keep her stick down or something like that.
Like I should have known.
Oh, that's fantastic. That takes us through all the series.
There it is.
This playoffs has been a lot of fun so far.
And it's just beginning.
And it's just beginning. And the hockey's been intense. I don't know how they're doing it with no fans in the building, but they're figuring it out.
No, I do not agree with that.
No?
No, if you cannot get up to try to win the Stanley Cup when there are no fans in the building, get out of the NHL and stop playing hockey.
I mean, they all obviously have that mentality as well.
Like, I've gotten asked that a couple times, and I'm like, no. You think it matters to us? You think that we can't? And I said, like, you know what? Welcome to women's hockey, where your intensity still has to be the exact same, whether the rink is full or whether you are in a community center at 10 o'clock at night.
I love that. I think that's a good exclamation point for this episode of the Fourth Line podcast.
There it is.
So thank you, Erin Ambrose, for joining me, because Carl is off doing something.
Good for Carl.
Where can people find you on the interwebs?
On Instagram at Ambrose_13, as well as Twitter at Ambrose_13. You can add me on TikTok as well at Ambrose_23.
You're on TikTok?
I am. I don't do much.
Do you have as much dog content on TikTok as you do on Instagram?
That's 2 of my 3 posts, yes.
Erin has a very cute dog, so you all have to go follow her on Instagram.
Everybody just wants to see Henry.
Do you have anything that you want to plug while you're here? Or do you just want to like say hi to your dad and tell your mom you love her? You have all of our listeners' attention, so.
Are they still on?
Probably not. I always assume at this point that they're all gone by now. Yeah, you want him to beep out your snorting laugh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That way people will just think you're bad swearing instead of snorting. Oh, I hope he doesn't have to beep that out.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you, Erin Ambrose, for joining me today. And the rest of you can join myself and Carl on Twitter at the Fourth Line Podcast. I'm pretty sure we have an Instagram at the Fourth Line Podcast. There are articles online if you go to thefourthlinepodcast.com. There's writers who write awesome hockey articles, so go read stuff there. And that concludes our Carl-less Fourth Line Podcast episode. So thank you, Erin. I will give you the final word if you want to say something.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you.
Hi, y'all. This is Ryan from the Eat More Barbecue podcast. I'm just a guy that loves slow smoked southern barbecue. I love eating it, I love cooking it, and I really love talking about it. I want to help grow the barbecue culture here in Alberta, and this podcast is a great way for me to share the stories of the people involved in the barbecue community, like restaurant operators and competitive barbecue cooks. Along the way, I also visit with other folks like farmers, distilleries, breweries, and anything of interest to barbecue people. A new episode comes out every Wednesday wherever you listen to podcasts. Keep on smoking, folks.